What up, Wizards? It's Dev from SBMTG. The M stands for money. Been out here spending it, though. What'd you get yourself, Dev? You get some stocks, some bonds, a little certificate of deposit. Would you finally get that boat? No, actually, spent my money on the only investment vehicle that matters in the whole world, baby. Magic cards. We all know it. I spent so much money. If y'all was knowing what I've been blowing out here, you'd be jealous. I spent $5 on the cowboy set. I spent $5. And I'm going to be rich! And I'm your favorite magic channel's favorite magic channel. Best believe that the professor go bananas for my deck tech. So we're back, and I've calmed down considerably, but the adrenaline rush of hitting place order is still coursing through my veins. So I'm going to try to be cool here, but I make no promises. Look, are we here to make money and speculate on cards? Because there's a bunch of dum-dums out there don't know what a good magic card is. No, we're not here to do that. Even if I somehow hit it big and doubled my money a couple of years from now, $10 would have done better on a scratch-off ticket. So no, we're just here to buy cards that we think are cool, or at least I guess I think is cool. Is cool? Are cool. That's good English right there. But what are the rules for this thing again? I always forget. And then I always feel the need to tell you once I've remembered, even though you know full well what the rules are. I can spend $5 and 25 cents. There's a little bit of a padding there because, you know, it would take a wizard to hit the nail right on $5. And even though I guess I am, we are all some kind of wizard. I guess I'm just not that kind of wizard. I'm more of a spaghetti making kind of wizard. All my magic goes into making spaghetti. And I'm really good at that. So I guess I'm a spaghetti wizard. And then like this guy over here is a Pong wizard. And this guy over here is an oral surgery wizard. And this lady over here is like a sticker cutting wizard. So like everyone's got their own kind of magic, right? But I'm no math magician myself. So it'd be really difficult to hit it right on $5. Give myself a little bit of leeway there. But the only other real rule is that once I've hit $5, I can't spend any more money. So you might think that I'm a little weasel that's like, oh, I've hit $5.02, but I've got $5.25 to spend. No, I don't do that actually. I hit $5. I keep it honest. I'm done spending money. I don't got more than $5. Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. That's a pinball wizard. See, there's a bunch of different kinds of wizards. What kind of wizard are you? Let me know down there in the comment section. What's this video about? I spent some money on some magic cards. I was able to get 8 total cards in this order. So about half of a booster pack, but that feels pretty good when you get to pick the cards you want. Still, the other side of that is I spent the price of a booster pack on half of the contents of a booster pack. So they better be pretty good. But I guess the bright side is that I'm going to use most of these cards in a bunch of commander decks and possibly even cube a lot of the time. That's why I buy cards, is those two formats. So with that in mind, the first card I purchased for sure was Forsaken Miner. Just 45 cents for this little guy. We're going to have lots of good times together. Yeah, I probably overpaid for this dude and almost every card in the order for that matter. But again, memories. We're going to form memories. That's worth $5. So when it comes to Forsaken Miner, he's just one of these dudes, right? He's a single black mana for a 2/2. That's already a steal, baby. He might not be able to block. Who gives a crap? Basically, whenever you commits a crimes... Why did I elect to read the card that way? Like I'm Toki Wartooth from Metalocalypse. Whenever you commit a crime, don't do that. Whenever you commit a crime, is how you read that like a normal person. You pay a black mana, you slide that thing back from your graveyard to the battlefield. That feels pretty good. Doesn't even come into play tapped, but you know, can't block, so there is that. But still, really, really sweet dude. The next in a long line of creatures like this. Here's some of them on your screen. There's like 50,000, but here's like a 3 or 4, something like that. So there's a lot of these, and it's always nice to have some redundancy on effects like this in Commander. So now you can play like 4 or 5 1-drops that all come back from your graveyard for a pretty low cost. Also looks kind of slick in the mono black cube. I wanted more bloodgasty, blood-soaked champion. A lot of these cards have blood in their name, but like reassembling skeleton. Like I wanted more cards like those in the mono black cube, and I feel like I didn't quite get enough right. So this guy, it's self-explanatory. Again, 45 cents is a little bit more than I wanted to pay for him, but we're going to be like this. We're going to be hanging out all summer. I should probably get this out of the way before we move on, because this card goes in all 3 of the decks I'm about to mention, but you're going to hear me say things like Ellis Ilkor and Judith and Dina tonight, and 2 of those are actual kind of common names, but the other one is kind of gibberish. But either way, these are all commander decks that I own, and I just like switch cards in between them all the time, and these are like the only 3 commander decks I really keep and play with and take care of and stuff. Just juggling 3 ladies all the time. I had 7 other jokes to go in that slot, but none of them really read right. That one didn't, to be honest, but one way or the other, I play with these cards a lot. And so Forsaken Miner is probably going to go in just about every single one of these decks. And again, I will bring these three up a good bit tonight. So just keep them in the back of your mind, because I always do. Long story short, I will never forsake this guy. I have not used that joke this season, probably because it's the most obvious one. We'll move on to Honest Rutstein. I got this for 45 cents, and I was, again, probably slightly overpaying for that, but I don't mind because, like, this is a 50 cents card, right? Like, this card costs 50 cents. Come on. I know that this is 3 whole mana for a thing that's only got 2 toughness or whatever, but it almost Eternal Witness, it gets a creature back when it comes into play. I really don't want to compare that to Eternal Witness, but also is kind of a form of ramp that can technically ramp you more than once in the same turn if you're playing multiple creatures. The card's good, and he goes directly into Dina. He just slides right into her. Why does everything sound so bad? I can't keep it together tonight. Also kind of nice as a Golgari slot in Cube. The one thing I'll say at least about Cube is that this doesn't seem like the most flexible Golgari slot in the world because it really only cares about creatures, but you know, big mid-rangey creatures, graveyardy stuff, we're in Golgari. That's all it knows. That's all it eats. So it should be a pretty good card in those slots. But still, just in Commander, not just in Dina decks, but in just about anything that can fit it, the card looks pretty sick. It kind of takes one off your Commander tax all the time, too. So that's one way to look at it. Rutstein Shackleford. Next, I blew a $1.05 on a Karavek the Punisher. Is that how you pronounce Karavek? Karavek? Karavek. Somebody in the comments is going to phonetically lay it all out for us. I'm sure everyone else in the world knows how to pronounce it. I wonder how all the other YouTubers are pronouncing it. Karavik. Yeah, I got to stop. The Care Bear over here is just a really, really cool card, man. This is another one that I'm just going to say cube to you. I built a mono black cube last year. It was awesome. It's my favorite cube I ever built. You didn't watch that video? It's on the channel. What's wrong with you? I'll leave a link in the description. If you're interested in a mono black cube that was supposed to be a Halloween cube, but it didn't come out till like Thanksgiving. It was a whole thing. Still, my favorite cube I've ever built in my life, I've built like 5 at this point, is a mono black cube. And this, same thing with Forsaken Miner, but this thing right here, my goodness. Like, first of all, it's going to cast almost every card in the entire cube, which is pretty great, right out of your graveyard. Another thing that cares about committing crimes, and you'll note that I picked up a couple of those because it's fairly easy to do, both in Commander and just in Cube, where you're looking to pick up decent removal anyway, and all that commits crimes, obviously. But in all 3 of my Charmander decks, Commander decks, what's wrong with me? I decided that was not like a thing I planned. It wasn't in all of my Charmander decks. This is actually a really sweet card too. I'm going to have to like switch it in and out between all the decks a bunch of times. That's going to be really fun. But I do want this card in just about all of my Commander decks. I bet if I went through, I've got Ellis O'Core right next to me. I bet if I went through this deck right now, I could find a bunch of crimes. Hold on. Let's try this together. Crime. Crime. Crime, 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 and we're getting crime. Yep, bone shards, that's a crime. Playcraft, is that a crime? Playcraft or not quite? There's a priest is a crime. Am I right about that? I'm not sure. Either way, it was 20 crimes in just the top like 30 cards of the deck right there. So again, pretty sure this is going to be popping off constantly. Do I care about 2 life? Absolutely not. So we're just going to be casting cards out of the graveyard like it's popcorn. Is that a thing? Does that make any sense? I just really like this card. And then you'll be casting spells like they're popcorn. Huh. Anyway, I got a Raish Crew next. This was 45 cents. That's way too much for this card, but here's the deal. Hear me out. It was not a want or even a desire. No, this was a need. It was a necessity that I own this Magic card. My favorite card of all time? Was I really about to say that? One of my favorite cards of all time is Bastion of Remembrance. This was actually my favorite exclusive preview of all time back when I used to get those, and it's probably the best one I ever got. Why don't I get exclusive previews anymore? I guess it doesn't really matter. I still do spoilers, so whatever. But yeah, this is just a sweet card because it's basically Bastion just for Outlaws, and that's a lot of creatures. So many creatures are Outlaws, so you can just put this and Bastion in your deck, and so long as all your dudes are Outlaws, you basically get redundancy with Bastion. The card is sick, and like I don't know why more people aren't talking about it, but I guess Bastion started off this way too. That card was like 25 cents when it came out, and now it's more than that. It's like $2. I gotta make it out like the card went through the roof, but yeah, I think Bastion's like $1.52, $3, something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this had a similar trajectory. But again, we're not speculating. I don't care if the card falls to like -5 cents. Like you got to pay people when they see that you have the card or something. I don't know. I'll do it. I'll give you a nickel or whatever to own this card. So I feel like I should have only had to give them a nickel to own this card. But still, again, 45 cents, that's a sound investment in my world. I live in an odd world. What's this that I'm doing? I'm still holding it from the end of the last take. What is this? What was I going for here? Like in like expressive language? What is this? In my world, what is it like this tall? Anyway, what else did I buy? A Raven of Fell Omens, the cheapest card in the entire order here at 25 cents. I spent an American quarter on a Raven of Fell Omens, a card that you probably opened in a pack. One of you has opened in a pack and then like thrown in the trash or given to a friend or just left on the draft table. Scott, what is this card? It's bad. Yeah, probably. Here's the thing. I agree, but I also just like the card. First of all, if you don't know this, if you're some sort of plebeian, look, I'll forgive you for not recognizing a Stormcrow when you see it. But this is here's the thing though. Oh, let me just get a little closer. This is a strictly better Stormcrow. So it's the best. It's basically the best card. Are we still doing this meme? It's at least the best card in the set. It's fun looking though. You know, I know it only pops off once a turn, but you know, if you're doing some cramming on your turn, ping. If you're doing some cramming on their turn, ping. If you're playing Commander and then your other opponent gets turn, pang. If you got another person over here to your left like a clown, just ping, pang. So, you know, it's like good. It's not good. Stop. I really need to resist the temptation to call this card good, but it is definitely the kind of card I like. It's incremental damage on a flying body for 2 mana, and I really just cannot resist. I've been playing Magic for 30 years and I'm still falling for this, but I don't care. I have fun with it. That's what matters. You know, it's a game and that's what matters. And honestly, if I cared at all about win rate in any format I play ever, even the paper ones, then I wouldn't have bought the next card. Roxan! I'm the only one that hasn't done that joke yet this season. I do feel like it's slightly played out, but I have to do it at least once. I got Roxy. She is my heart. That's a Chicago joke, by the way. Did you get that one? Either way. Sorry. It's less funny when you explain the joke, but this is a cat, and I really didn't want to have a 4th cat in my house, but here we are. Went ahead and ordered it, though. It's a good. Basically, what I'm saying is that we're going to be very, very good friends. I'm going to have her curl up in my lap and stuff when I'm just like playing arena. I'm just going to pet her and she's going to start purring and I'm going to be like, you're a piece of cardboard. You shouldn't purr. You're haunted. And I'm going to run. It's going to be a whole experience, but it's also going to be an experience brewing around this in Commander. I have also been brewing around it a lot in Standard lately, like kind of a whole lot. Here's like 4 decks I built around this card in Standard. Are any of them good? No, absolutely. Just don't do it. I guess the Legends one is okay, but you still lose a bunch of games. Just don't. Probably don't do it, but these are, I don't know. I like Roxan. I think it's a really, really cool creature. I think that if you can like blink it or maybe use Slogurt to return it to your hand over and over, and then with a bunch of mana from Relic of Legends, you can play it and then return it to your hand with Otarawa because it's only 1 mana and then play it again. You just get a bunch of meteors all on the same turn. Meteor shower, baby. We can make this deck work, but maybe we can't. Either way, I've seen a lot of people like pretty excited to brew around this in Commander especially. And I'm going to join their ranks, man. This is just such a cool card. 5 mana is a lot. 5 mana is so much. But if you have ways of like copying it, even if the copy is still legendary, at least you still get the ETB trigger. That's pretty good. The attacks trigger is great too. It's the same as the ETB trigger, which is great. So definitionally, it's also a good attacks trigger. But this is actually really solid ramp, not just with the meteorites, but also with treasure tokens. Did you know that they will tap for 2 mana? In fact, that they will. You'll have to sack them, but they still tap for 2 mana. Power Stones in Standard, they tap for 2 mana. There's already a fair number of artifact tokens out there that tap for mana, but there's also some setups where you have a bunch of artifact creature tokens in play somehow, and then you have like a Cryptolith Rites or something like that, something that gives your tokens the ability to tap for mana, and then suddenly your tokens tap for double mana because they're artifacts, you see, and they're also tokens. So there's a bunch of setups with this card in Commander that I'm kind of really interested in trying out. And because she's great. A lot of people are making fun of this card, like, oh, an unglued card got into the set. What do? Yeah, it looks. Look, okay. Here's my justification. Maybe it is from an unplane. Maybe it is from an unplane. Who we're doing omen paths, right? And like regular creatures can come from other planes right now. Who knows? Maybe she is from an unplane. Shut up. It's fine. It's Whatever. I just really like the card. I think I've justified it enough at this point. She's a cat. And yeah, you don't have to tell me. I know 99 cents too much to pay for this card. I may have gotten fleeced. Don't care. We're going to have some really fun Charmander games together. But next I got a Tiny Bones joined up. Tiny Bones joined my team, baby. What team? Well, I don't know if I've been up front with you guys yet about this, but I have an Ellis-Il Core Commander. I have a deck in Commander that's based around Ellis-Il Core. I've mentioned it a time or two. I just don't know if it's really sunken in. Also, Judith, Aunt Judy, Dina over here. I got a couple of Commander decks, all with like cheap commanders. This goes super well with a cheap commander. And boy, am I a sucker for incremental damage. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not even telling you that cards like this are good. I'm just hardwired to like this. If a card says like, oh, whenever a thing happens, everybody takes damage, I'm just, oh my God, put it in my sandals, put it between my cargo pockets. There's something about effects like this that I just go goo goo gaga over. So, you know, especially if you got a cheap legendary commander, let's just get them triggers, man. Honestly, this card was 99 cents too, just like Roxanne, and I feel like I didn't get quite as murdered on the cost of this card. I feel like 99 cents, yeah, that's probably fair, but it's probably down to like 50 by now, so don't listen to me. Either way, definitely like one of the cards I wanted to pick up most from the set, so I'm not disappointed at all. I also got to say, I'm just growing to really love Tiny Bones, just as a dude. Like as a bro, you know? As a guy, he's an awesome little guy. He's tiny. He's Bones. It's not even a joke. I don't think that counts as a joke. Like, he is both those things. So let's just move on. I had one more card to buy here, around 50-ish cents left. So I remember that I had a Raish Crew back there because, like, I'm not going to forget that. Card's awesome. So I decided to just pick up the Outlaw Commander. Vial Smasher, this guy over here, and he is the Outlaw Commander. I know there's a bunch of other Outlaws that could be your commander, but in my world, and remember, in my world, this is one of the best commanders ever printed. My world is wacky. But again, in case you couldn't tell by all the commander decks that I play, I've said their names enough. I really like cheap commanders that deal incremental damage. And I did that whole bit about incremental damage a second ago, so I think you know my feelings on all that. This is just a really, really cool card. It's a Corpse Knight that is always on the table. Like, I don't think anybody wants to pay 4 and then 6 and then 8 mana for a Corpse Knight, but don't see if I won't do that. I will absolutely do that in order to always have my Corpse Knight locked in place where I can get a billion damage off him. It's not going to be hard, man. This card's so good. And hey, whenever he's not commanderin', that's not right. Commandeering? Overconfident, yes. When he's not commandeering, he goes pretty well in the 99 of that Judy deck over there because you just make all your dudes Outlaws. I know Judy herself is not an outlaw, so that kind of sucks, but still, a lot of the other cards in your deck can be outlaws pretty profitably with a card like Vial Smasher on your team. So I just really, really like this dude. Again, massive sucker. Not me calling cards like this good. Not me. Couldn't be me. This is me calling myself an idiot for liking cards like this. But I will take it. I will take it all. I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Going to lose all the games. Still, it doesn't matter. We're having fun. Magic is a game. I feel like I keep saying that in this video, but like, you can lose and have fun. Did you know that's possible? Lighten up, man. I have no idea what my energy is in this video. Just so you know. I mean, we're at the end of it now, but I don't know what this was either. I'm still going to put it out. I feel like it's actually my best video of all time. Either way, it's 508 for this entire package. Here's a video of my card on TCG Player so you don't think I'm lying. It's because it's the internet. People will seriously take it that seriously. People will be in the comment section like, you're lying. And it's like, geez, dude, it's Magic card. You've got to calm down, man. Blood pressures. You gotta look out for yourself. Is all I'm saying. It's just de-stress. Why are you this serious? Either way, it's 508 for this entire card. Here's proof for some reason. Kind of reminds me of that old Mitch Hedberg joke where he's like, you know, I went to buy a donut. The guy gave me a receipt for a donut. And I was like, I don't need a receipt for the donut. I don't see a situation arising where I have to prove that I bought a donut, right? But honestly, if you put a video on the internet, people will accuse you of having not bought that donut. So like, I feel strange doing it every time. But yeah, the card was 508. It was a good card too, man. I know it was only 8 cards this time around. Usually I try to shoot for 10, but still, I got more or less every card that I wanted from this set. There's not a whole lot in the like upper echelons of price level that I really actually care about. Instead, I got all this stinky stuff that I'm gonna build commander decks around, like throw in my cube and have the time of my life with. If you absolutely had to buy cards from this set, what would you buy with your money? But I don't know why I had to say it like that. Aside from that, just like the video. Is there something in the tea? This is sweet tea from Miller's, which is like an Applebee's, but better. It's the best way to describe Miller's. This is tea, but I'm beginning to wonder. I had to put that down before I Roger Rabbit through my own ceiling, but one way or the other, that's the end of the video. What if I just cut it off right there? I mean, I have to do all the other stuff, though. Your call to action, baby. Make sure you like this one. Share it around to your friends and even people you don't even know. Just walk up to them. Don't bother people on the street. I'm not advocating for that. Just send it to your grandmother. Yeah, send it to your grandma and have her watch it. And then, anyway, what's wrong with me? Subscribe to the sandwich if you haven't done it yet. For more of this? Who wants that? I don't know. Just to make sure you sub to this, even if you never watch another video, subscribe to the channel. It will make me feel better and stuff. So you do that. And then check out the Patreon link in the description. $1 a month and I'll shut my mouth. I'll never do that, apparently. $1 a month, you get to vote on what content we do around here in the first place. And they didn't vote on this one. I just do this one every season. But we're about to put another Patreon poll up for the next deck tech of the season. So you get in on that one, baby. But anyway, that's all I gotta calm down. I'm Deb from the place. Love you guys. I'm Deb from the place. Thanks for watching, Wizards. Spread love and be kind.